Welcome to Behind the Boot, a Louisiana sports podcast. Your favorite weekly show bringing you the latest news in Saints, Pelicans, LSU Tigers, and more. Enjoy the show.
What up? Welcome to another episode of Behind the Boot podcast, a Louisiana sports podcast bringing you the latest in LSU news, Saints news, Pelicans news, maybe even sometimes a little UL Raging Cajuns, Houston Astros, whatever it is y'all looking for. If you're from Louisiana and you rock with sports, whatever's hot in them news topics, we're gonna be talking about it here. Jared, what episode number this is? I think we moving up in the ranks now, man.
I think it might be 16.
All right, we'll roll with that. Episode 16. If not, we'll have it corrected in the title and the description and everything for y'all. But kind of interesting week, man, in Louisiana sports. I'm not gonna lie to you. But before we get into that, I'ma just start with the basic stuff, man. How y'all doing? How was y'all week?
Kind of suck it, Ryan. But I'll get over it.
I feel it, man. It's always something, man. Jared, how was your week?
Yeah. Can't complain. About tomorrow, so turn up.
That's what's up, man. So interesting week for me, man. I know a lot of times I'll tie my week into how my teams did over the weekend, man. And I'll be honest, it wasn't a good week for any of our teams, really. I want to start off talking about what's going on in Baton Rouge over there, man. So I'm gonna start with you, Dan. It seemed like, I guess there's rumblings, which is slowly becoming more obvious as time goes on, that the seat is getting a little hot for Ed in Baton Rouge, man. There's been a lot of stuff. I want to read a quote from this article on Yahoo Sports. It says, the program that put together perhaps the greatest offensive season in college history 2 years ago can't even get off snaps consistently. Now, this next sentence is what I really want to ask you about, Dan. It says, and after clearing out coordinators on both sides of the ball in the offseason, there's no one left to blame but the head coach. So starting with that, I'm going to ask, if you had to grade Ed's season this year so far, what you rating him? And then what do you think he would have to do to potentially save his job, if possible? Do you think it's even possible for him to save it at this point?
Well, I think a coaching job right now, just dealing with the moving parts, I give him a B right now. I go ahead and give him a B minus. The reason I say it is new coordinators, you switched them out. I really believe that he made the right choice in the defensive coordinator. I think Deontay Jones is doing an excellent job with the defense. Now, some of this is on the players now, because they should have won that game against Auburn. That wasn't on the coaches to me. That was on the players and the defense not able to tackle Bo Nix. Simple as that. You put them in the right spot, they got to execute. That being said, if Ed don't win 5 out of the next 7, I think he's gone. I think the new AD, Scott Woodward, came in 2 years ago. It wasn't as high. He inherited Ed Orgeron, and he inherited a national championship. But just all this extra stuff, and Ed not able to see that he's just the dumb mistakes, like hiring somebody without interviewing them. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense. You're head of a basically LSU football is a Fortune 500 company. You can't just go hire your chief financial officer and hire him without an interview, without even knowing the dude.
Right.
You give them the keys to the whole business, and you don't even know the person. How you even do that? So you putting your job and your financial safety on the line for somebody you didn't even know was okay for the job. So I give him a big ding on that, but I think if it was anybody else, if this was still the old regime with the old AD, I think it would be safe for another year. But just being Scott Woodward, I see how he does with coaches. He's not afraid to fire anybody. He's not afraid to go to the big hire. I think if the right candidate comes available, which I think there's one, like I said, like I talked about the other show about 2 weeks ago. If he has the right one available in mind, he probably is down the road 45 minutes, I think he pulls the trigger. Now, if he doesn't have the person lined up, I think he might hold on to Ed for one more year, depending on the outcome. I think he has to get to 8 wins. He doesn't get to 8 wins, he's gone. I think that'll be the minimum. He got to beat Kentucky, and he's going to have to beat ULM, and they got somebody else on their schedule. And they're going to have to beat either Ole Miss, Arkansas. They're going to have to Ole Miss, Arkansas, or A&M. They're going to have to win one of those games. If they don't, I don't think that they're going to survive the season, man.
Right. So I guess when I look at college football, it's a little different the way they handle like turnover and staff. Like obviously the players cycle in and out, 4 years max. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it's a whole lot easier to have turnover in coaching staff because you kind of starting from a ground zero every year anyway. You know what I mean? Now this is what I'm gonna ask Jerrette. So we know with the NFL, right? If let's say the Saints don't make the playoffs this year, which obviously now I don't even know, but I think Sean Payton is safe. Like his job is safe. Like that he has no threat of being fired. You know what I'm saying? Whereas in college, I don't think that's the case. But when I watch the football games, I don't know how much we can just blame on Ed because the talent on the field don't kind of look like it live up to usual LSU caliber players. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm gonna ask you. If you had to put a ratio on it with like how much of the fault belongs to Ed, how much fault belongs to the players, like 50-50, 80-20, where you fall on that?
Oh, me personally, I think is as so like in the NFL, you have general managers, you have people that stakes out your roster, right? In the NFL, the head coach, most of the time, besides Bill O'Brien, garbage ass, and we all know after him. But besides him, the head coach's job is to coach
Bill
the team.
Belichick too, Jerry.
Yeah, Bill Belichick. So the coach's job is to coach the team. Period. That's it. College, Ed, he is responsible for recruiting. That means making sure you have talent on the field that can play in the SEC and that can win you games. He's responsible for that. Him, recruiting coordinators, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, they're all in charge of getting recruits on the team. So that's Ed's fault. And right now, the O-line is fucking terrible. That's Ed's fault for not developing talent. That's coach's fault because you got to develop your players. So
that's the only weakness on the team is that.
Right. And so I want to let you finish. So remember what you thought. But so I look at like especially with college football, right? Recruiting to me is like a team effort. You know what I mean? So you got to have people that's actually like branching out and finding the talent. And then I feel like the coaching staff job as a collective is like, okay, this dude is a 5-star, but can he do what fits in what we run? You know what I mean? Finding the right pieces, finding the right, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like, and I'm just playing devil's advocate, but I feel like maybe with the turnover and everything, things kind of get shaky when, so how much of a chance do you think he has to come back? Ed, I'm talking about. Because I really like Ed. Like recently they were at a peak. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, honestly, I don't think he has no shot of coming back. And the reason because all these sexual allegations and Ed is just always in the news. So like lately he's been in the headline like he doesn't need to. You already got heat on you about the sexual allegations. Like you don't need to be in no type of news article or people tweeting about you. You don't need you need to be as low as possible. You're doing the opposite.
Low
Drawing
profile.
more, yeah. So she's drawing more attention on, and like Dan was saying earlier about Scott Woodward, that wasn't his high. So Scott don't have no ties to Ed. You know what I'm saying? The only reason why Ed is still here is because he won that championship. And me personally, Ed didn't even win that championship. He got, you know, he got given that championship because he didn't hire Dave Aranda. That wasn't his hire. Dave Aranda got hired by Les Miles, right? He didn't hire Steve Ensminger. Nobody gives Steve Ensminger no type of credit about that offense. And he was the one calling plays. Joe Brady was only, giving input on like third down, third down plays or whatever, this and that. But
Right.
when it came down to calling plays, it was Steve Ensminger. Guess what? Another Les Miles hire. So who did you
Right.
hire? Only Joe Brady? And Joe Brady left after 1 year. So he didn't hire no type of good coach. He has yet to hire a good coach, and that's a problem.
I like
You see,
Durante. Durante's pretty good, man. I think Durante's a good coach.
well, I mean, it's the first year, but
Yeah.
it's proven it's possible. Like it sucks, but it's part of the game, baby. That's what you signed up for. That's why you're getting paid $8 million a year to be LSU head coach.
Right.
You have to lose a coach. You got to be able to find another coach. Nick
I just
Saban's been doing it for years, bro, and
I
he's
just
never
think
missed a step. You
I
have
just think his constant mishires, bro, it's going to be his downfall. I think Matt Canada, that was 1 year gone. Then he hired Steve Ensminger. I mean, that Steve Ensminger coach. Then they canned Steve Ensminger after 2 years. Then you go hire Jake Peets, and then you hire Bo Pelini. For what, I don't know. You hire Bo Pelini, you came after 1 year.
he's gonna
Like
retire.
you
Yeah.
just, I just don't understand. Like what his train of thought and who's his PR director and who's his publicist and who is his manager or secretary. Somebody got to be keeping Ed out of the news and keeping him on track because I don't even know how it's even possible him hiring Bo Pelini without even giving him an interview. Like I
Yeah.
just can't fathom that. How in the hell is that even possible? Like Ed ain't even like I don't understand. Like he doesn't. I mean, he makes his staff, but at the end of the day, people got to sign off on it. Like I mean, I just don't understand what's going on. I just don't, it's just a big stupid pile of steaming shit. That's stinking in LSU, and it's bad because we have the players. The players is not they ain't executing, and especially in the offensive line. You ain't got an offensive line, bro. It just trickles down, bro. You can't run the ball. You can't get your defense off the field. You can't hold a lead. And you can't let Max Johnson throw the ball 50 times a game, bro. Like, Max is really good. I think Max could be, his numbers speak for itself, bro. Like, he's in top 10 in the nation. But when you
Right.
can't run the ball and give him a break, give him some type of balance, I mean, damn, man. I just don't understand, like, how this offensive. I think the worst thing that happened to the offensive line was the coronavirus and was the COVID because all these motherfuckers, excuse my French, all these old 25-year-old players that's on the offensive line that should be in the NFL or on their couch watching the game is still playing for the LSU Tigers right now because they got an extra year eligibility. Liam Shanahan, Ed Ingram, Chasing Hines, these Austin Deculus, they're all 5 and 6 year seniors. You know what I'm saying? It just
Right.
is horrible, bro. Like I just can't fathom. And Ed will not swallow his pride and bench him, bro, because he's a big, he's real big on like LSU laws. he a good Tiger, all this other bullshit he be spitting. He real big on that. So he ain't gonna bench a 5th and 6th-year senior to put in obviously a better option, a freshman or a sophomore that we have waiting in the wings, ready to go. It's just terrible.
But do we even have that waiting in the wings? Because from what I hear, we don't. That's why he's keeping him on the field. He doesn't have no type of trust in those backups. And that's what I was saying. Development comes key in this. Like you just fired your offensive line coach last year, Bill Bush. He got a new offensive line coach right before the beginning of the season. So that also doesn't help. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you're not doing these guys no type of justice, or you're not helping them out at all, because there's different language. One guy might have different terminology about blocking scheme and technique than other guy. So now they got to learn different stuff now. Then your left tackle, Darren Rosenthal, he transferred. He transferred to Kentucky. So he lost the left tackle too. So it's like from the beginning of the season, they was pretty much looking themselves for kind of an off-season off the line. It's just, for me, it speaks to the volume of if you got these guys still in there and we all know they're doing bad, then you don't have nobody to replace them. You have no backup.
You just can't tell McCardell Thomas can't get in there and do better than Chicken Hines, bro. You can't tell me that Martinez can't get in there and do better than Ed Ingram. We got Marcus Dumerville, Thomas Perry.
None of those guys been getting no type of PT, bro.
We got to play him, bro. At this point, you have to play him.
Right.
Practice don't mean shit.
Yeah, I think we all can agree that the seat is hot for him. Me personally, I hope he could turn it around. Like I think which Jerrette made some good points that I didn't think about earlier when I said that, but I really do like Ed and what like the kind of culture that he brought as of recently, returning LSU to like top tier glory. You know what I mean? But I didn't think about how some of that was a trickle down from Les Miles. But we'll keep an eye on LSU and see what happens, man. I wish my boy some luck with the rest of the year. But
he gonna need it.
He gonna need it.
Yeah, he definitely gonna need it, bro. So I wanna turn over to the other football team. Sean Payton, man. I think as a collective, Saints Twitter came to let Sean Payton know you gotta trust my boy Jabu, man. You got to. So I think the distrust in Sean Payton was the reason that not Sean Payton, the distrust in Jameis Winston led to a very avoidable loss. You know what I mean? Like honestly, I was like legit disgusted with what I saw. Like some of the play calling, some of the Taysom Hill in situations where he didn't need to be. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna start with Dan. What do you think? Like because I'm trying to get into Sean Payton's head, into his mind, because there's obviously a reason for everything, right? So if I'm Sean Payton, what could be my reason for distrusting Jameis outside of his reputation of being, interception prone and all this stuff? And you know what I mean? What could he possibly be the reason why he doesn't want to have just a little bit more trust in Jameis? Like if you name him QB1, let him be QB1.
And the main reason right now is just he's trying to find a rhythm in Jameis. He's trying to start him off. I don't know, man. It's hard to say. Honestly, to be real, I just think he don't want to lose a game. I mean, all this hoopla and talk about the defense being top 10 and all this other stuff, man. Like that could be the case, but you still have to play to win the game. You can't let Jameis go out there and play to not lose it. You have to turn him loose. And that being said, what is Jameis good at? Pushing the ball down the field. He throws great medium routes. Like he throws that, that 15-yard dig pretty good. The shit that Drew Brees couldn't really do on a regular basis. He can let loose a 25-yard comeback and drill it in there. Something that Drew Brees couldn't do for years. And of course, him throwing the ball down the field. Jimmy has a big arm, so Sean Payton has tailored his offense around Drew Brees. The short intermediate game, timing routes. Everything was timing. Everything was this and that. But Jameis is more of a, he's good. I mean, he's a great pocket QB. Don't get me wrong, but he's really good off script, and he's real good at buying time sometimes. But and that's when he does get into trouble. But the main thing I think Sean Payton's worried about is him actually losing the game. And it's just hard to kind of find a rhythm. And I just think that Sean's not really helping him out by not letting Kamar, get out and do what Kamar do.
Right.
There's no swing passes. There's no circle routes. He ain't spitting them out. It's just, and the Harper play caller, man, I just don't think that it serves it right that you let Jameis throw a bomb, to Kenny Stills get called back. The next play you put Taysom in, he throw a pick. He throw the ball to Deontay Harris with 5-5, a jump ball.
Right.
I didn't get that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm like, number one, why he even throwing the ball on 1st and 20? You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't understand. Like, the logic behind the play calling, you got to let him loose. He went 12 for 12. Let him get in a rhythm. Let him get some easy throws. And then he hit a bomb. That's all the confidence he need. And maybe it's because he don't trust Troutman. Maybe because he don't trust Callaway and getting open and being in the right spot. Maybe that got something to do with it. But Sean got to let him go, bro. I mean, either sink or swim. I mean, you don't want to play Taysom. He beat Taysom out. You got to let him play, even if it's for the worst, man. If we suck, hey, let's just suck for a year and go get us a quarterback. But you got to let him play. You got to let him play. It's done with. He won the competition.
Yeah.
Let him go.
See, this is my thing, though, because looking at it, I think in Sean's mind, and I think honestly in everybody's mind, to be real, I think he thought, okay, we know that Jameis is not going to be able to fill Drew Brees' shoes, right? What we need him to do is to be good enough to not lose us games. So I think we went into the season with that expectation. But now that Jameis is showing not only the coaching staff, but the fans see okay, this dude actually is capable of being really good. I think a lot of these casual fans that kind of don't really, watch how the timeline unfold, they forget that Jameis was a first overall pick. They forget that Jameis actually was breaking touchdown records in the NFL. They you know what I mean? Because they let ESPN run with the narrative of, he threw X amount of picks this year, and then, that type of stuff. So this is why I'm gonna toss it to Jerrette, because I seen a tweet. It's from at Saints Forecast. I think Ralph Marlboro is the owner of that account, but he said, actually, my bad. Let me go back to that. He said, it's strange because the offense looked like I expected, especially in the second half. He said Winston hit deep shots, looked confident, run game was pretty good, but Payton kicking decisions and huge penalty on the TD pass ruined the offense's best all-around day. And I couldn't agree more. I didn't think about it like that, but up until that fourth quarter, I think Jameis played a pretty much flawless game. That was the best we looked the whole season. You know what I mean?
Pass, he was definitely on track for 300 yards. Easy.
That's a fact. And shout out Ross Jackson at Ross Jackson Nola. He said Taysom Hill's interception was thrown with 6:17 left in the third quarter. After that, Jameis only threw one pass until 3 possessions later with 6:11 left in the fourth. So that's a whole quarter. He didn't trust Jameis to do anything. Now,
and he even threw a pick.
Right, exactly.
He was trying not to lose too much. That's the problem.
Right. So this is where I ask you, Jerrette. I see a lot of noise on Twitter where people, obviously the media people are not gonna attack Sean Payton directly, but the fans have been doing it. How much do you think of the Breeze era was Breeze a cushion for Sean Payton? Because I feel like a lot of people look at Sean as like, one of the better coaches in the league. Are we worried about Sean? Because there's a lot of people saying fire Sean already. And I know that we agree that it's way too early for that. It's crazy. But that's what I want to ask you, because I think it's just interesting to think about. Like, these are obviously bad decisions.
Of course.
What would have to happen for Sean to get into that type of water? Like, how far away do you think he is from getting in the hot water?
I would say SP is very far. Like, he would have to go below 500 2 or 3 seasons in a row for the Saints to fire.
Facts.
Because, I mean, let's face it, bro. I mean, we all expected the Saints to start off slow. Like, I was hoping we'd just be one game above 500 going to the bye. That's all I was hoping, because we all know we got 6 to 7 people still hurt. I mean, you can see how much. Yeah, I mean, you can see how much not having a killable kicker can alter his game plan. Like Rosas, whatever his name is, he sucks, bro.
That's some trash.
Right.
And you could tell, like, he surely know what to do, because he went for, a 47. It would have been a 47-yard field goal. He went for that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's supposed to be, anything below 50 yards for a kicker, it's supposed to be, pretty good chances to make it.
Especially for less, bro.
Yeah.
Right.
So
let me ask you this, Jerrette. So just to give you a little pushback on your point, because I agree with what you're saying. I agree that he's very far away, but I think just looking at the record alone might be cutting them too much slack. Because I'm looking at the schedule, right? And obviously week 1, they demolished the Packers. They just looked like they outclassed them. You know what I mean? Which was unexpected for me. Like, honestly, as a diehard fan, I was watching that game thinking, like, if this ends in a loss, I'm cool with that. They just got to show me something. You know what I mean?
You always put it on that game.
But then they went out and demolished them. And so week 2, you lose against the Panthers. The Panthers kind of proven since that game that, like, all right, they not trash. Like, that wasn't a fluke game. Like, they actually got some talent over there. So,
but we had 8 people hurt.
Yeah, and that too. So I'm cool with the 1-1. Then you following week, you beat the Patriots, which I think is a better win than it might seem. You know what I mean?
Okay.
To me, when you beat the Patriots, who were, I think, not an equal level team to us, but they are very slightly below. Like, I think they're better than what people give them credit for. And to me, losing against the Giants is just unacceptable, especially in the fashion that you lost. You know what I'm saying? So I think if that became a trend, which I trust Sean Payton to make the adjustment to not let that crap happen again. I think he put a little too much faith in what the defense would have been able to do. And it just wasn't fair. Once they started picking on Paulson, adjustments should have been made. You know what I mean? But I think if that becomes a trend, the seat can become hot soon. Cause that's coaching, bro. Like, I feel like in the past, the offense was the crutch. We could just trust that Drew Brees was gonna do what he had to do and put us in a position to win the game. And it was looking at the defense like, all right, just don't lose it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Which makes it a whole lot easier for coaching. So that's why I say I had to give some pushback, because I think it's not the fact that he lost them games, it's the fashion that he lost it. You know what I mean?
I mean, I totally agree. That L they took against the Giants was totally on him. That was a SPL right there. You know,
Yeah.
those calls. Then he decided to kick a 58-yard field goal with a kicker
Nonsense.
he came in and make 45 yards. Whatever. He decided to kick that. That didn't happen, of course. Then the other thing that really got to me was the challenge. It's like, dude, why are you challenging that spot? There's no way in hell they was gonna give you that overturn. Like that's another wasted timeout that you could have used. You know what I'm saying? That also plagued that L also.
I'll
But
tell you what got to me, Jerry.
but
The refusal to help out Paulson was very alarming.
that's also
Like, you gotta help him, man. Like, they putting their best receiver on, they singling them up. I mean, they getting these cheap routes. You giving them 10 yards. Like, he's a rookie. You need to help him out. Hey, Paulson, outside leverage, we got you over the top and inside. Something. You gotta make sure you communicating there with him every play to help him out. You just sitting there and letting this man get cooked is unacceptable. Like we struck lightning in the bottle with getting a steal from him anyway. We know he can play, but why ruin his confidence by letting him get cooked by the winless Giants? Now he in the locker room thinking that it's all his fault they lost the game because he couldn't stop nobody because they was picking on him. You know what I'm saying, like, it doesn't make any sense. Why not make the adjustment, send him help over the top, and make sure he's sitting on all the short routes? That way, you can be done with that. Nobody else was doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? They were just putting their best receiver on their side or singling them up and putting either fast receiver or Kenny Galladay, and they would eat them up. I just don't understand. And by the way, CJ said the dude was getting cooked by what's his name? Old boy on the slot from Florida too, his former teammate.
and Jerrette Tony.
Yeah, Tony.
He
was
was
baking a cake on CGJ, bro. I don't know what was going on with that.
Hey, he fast, bro.
Cooking his ass.
That dude quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
you know, whatever. It's cool. Like back to the point though. I'm not gonna judge. I'm not gonna start judging SP until middle of the season. You know, wait till everybody come back. Wait till Mike Thomas come back.
Week 10, week 11.
You know, yeah, and you know, let us get Marcus Davenport back because
When is Michael coming back? He come back in October.
After the bye week, he was only on the PUP for six weeks.
Solid.
Yeah.
David Onyemata gonna be back. You know, they had no type of pressure on Daniel Jones. That's another thing. They have to just sit back there and throw all day. So, I mean, let's just wait. Let's just wait and see. The panic button is nowhere near me pushing right now. So, just wait till week 12. You know, see how, if you make adjustments and see if it gets any better.
Is Cam aggressive?
Oh, man. I don't.
He looking like he's showing his age, man.
No, I hate to see it, but he's not looking like the old Cam. You know, looking at a couple of highlights from the game is like a step slow.
Yeah, I think he need to kick him inside, man. I think he need to get kicked inside. I think they need to put him next to David Onyemata, man. Maybe when he get back.
And I hate to
inside
see
pressure.
I hate to see it because Cam will be a Saints lifer, bro. I love that guy.
Definitely going to Ring of Fame, bro. Definitely.
But I definitely think he's on his down slump of his career, though. Definitely.
Yeah, I think we kind of knew that's expected at his age, at the amount of time he been in the league. Like, I still think it's crazy he went that long playing as dominant as he did. You know what I mean? So
he had a solid 9-10 year stretch, bro. Definitely.
Yeah. So he definitely one of those lifers, bro. He forever good in New Orleans. You know what I mean? He gonna be 70 years old. If he walk on in the French Quarter, everybody go, show that man his respect, bro. But real quick before we get off the Saints, man, I just wanted to kind of preview the next week. We got the football team. What's your expectations? We both 2-2. I think the football team is actually better than most people give them credit for. What's your predictions? I'm gonna start with Jerrette.
Must-win game, Ron. Must-win game. They need to win this game so they can go 3-2 for a bye, get everybody healthy, and then start your playoff push. But they should be able to pass the ball. Washington football team had a piss poor pass defense, which is crazy after the season they had last year. But according to the stats, they're like bottom of the barrel pass defense. So if Sean lets the offense loose, they should be able to get, some passes through the air, nice yardage. Let Jameis go out there and spin the rock, bro.
I think he got no choice. He got to live or die by Jameis. But
24-20 Saints.
That's a solid prediction there. Dan, I'm gonna ask you just to make it interesting from the football team's perspective. If you was in their locker room before the game, what's they key point they gotta hit if they want to beat the Saints?
Stop the run.
Stop the run.
Make Sean Payton. Force Sean Payton to let Jameis throw the ball. And you live with what it is. You let Jameis beat you. Stop the run.
Yeah, well, if that pass coverage is bad as Jerrette talking about, then they could be in for a long game. Because I really do believe Jameis got that. Yeah, if they just let the offense open up, Jameis gonna take care of business. But that's it for the Saints, man. Last topic before we get out of here, man. I think this is one of the most talked about things on Twitter over the past since last night. But I think something brewing in the Smoothie King, man. Like I think whatever Griff little vision is for the Pelicans, man, I think is showing that it can come together. Trey Murphy went crazy. I really like what I seen from the he finished the game. Obviously, they won 104-86. But he finished with 20 points, 6 rebounds. He had an assist. He played 29 minutes. And the big storyline was 7 of 13 from the field and 6 of 9 from 3. Jerrette, I think we finally got the wing player that the Pelicans fans have been begging for the past 3-4 seasons now. And he could shoot the rock.
Like he see the beam of light coming down on Uncle Jerrette?
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord.
I think I see the beam, bro.
God, just let me know what's your real thoughts on Trey Murphy, because I got some thoughts, but I'm gonna wait till y'all share just to, what you think about him.
This guy is a sniper. Watching these 2 games, you leave him open, God, he is going to hit it. That's a bucket. I mean, me personally, every time I see him shoot, I think it's going in. Because it's the same. It's the same motion. It's like it's just so smooth, bro. Like his release is high. It's not like your normal pretty release, but God damn it, that guy can shoot the lights out, bro. Holy smokes! Man.
Even the ones he missed look really good off his hand.
Thanks. It is so nice to know that. Like, if you give this guy an open look, I would say 8 out of 10 he's gonna make.
Oh, that's a fact. I might even say 9 out of 10.
Yeah, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to put those expectations on him. So I'm gonna just go 8 out of 10. You know what I'm saying? Which is 80% is still damn solid from the 3-point line. I would take that over any day. But man, not only is he hitting the 3, but he can play defense, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's how long we've been waiting for this? 10 years? I mean, come on, Josh.
Maybe longer.
We never had one since Trevor Ariza, a 3 in the NBA. So I mean, man, it's nice. It's nice to know that we have a solid young rookie that can only get better. And can you just imagine him with Zion on the court, bro, and BI? Yeah, that's what he has to start. He has to.
That's where I was going next with it, because I want to ask Dan, because I know we was talking before we actually started recording. I think if the next 2 preseason games, like, bro, you got to understand he's averaging 6 threes a game. Like, he hit 6 in both of the first 2. You know what I'm saying? So I think if he even showed half of what he did in the first 2 in these last 2 games, I know Willie Green sitting in his office like, we ain't got no choice but to start him. Like, what's the alternative at this point? You know what I mean? So, because I seen Dan kind of had some pushback for us in the pre-show. So I'm gonna ask Dan, what reasons would we have to not start him? Make a case for keeping him out of the starting 5.
Dan, before you answer that,
my case is
Dan. Before you answer that, just know 12 from 19 from the 3 in 2 games.
I fucks with that, bro. I give me some more of that, bro. Sign me up for more of that. My only pushback is just what you gonna do with now, man. Like, I don't really like the fact. I mean, you just signed Devontae Graham to $40 million. I mean, you could really bring him off the bench. I mean, you can move Nard to point guard, which he more of a 2. That's my only pushback. So what is talking like? What you gonna do now? And Trey Murphy, Bi, Zion, and Jonas. I mean, I just don't know if I want to put Nard my point guard. That's just me. I fucks with it. I like the lineup. I love the line. I love the spacing. But I mean,
this the thing though. So I think you do just fine with Nard the 1, Trey the 2, Bi the 3, Zion 4, JV 5. I think you do just fine with that if you subscribe to David Griffin's whole deal of Zion running the offense. Because I think once the ball is in the half court, it don't matter. Like, nobody plays like a 1 on the team anyway. Like, there's nobody really orchestrating the floor. Maybe Tomas, but he ain't gonna really get that much clock, in my opinion.
It is guard heavy. It's guard heavy roster, but it concerns me because even if we starting on at point guard, you got Graham, you got Hart, you got Kyra, you got Najee. I mean, shit, like that's Thomas Ransom.
I think they subscribe to positionless basketball. Like, I think they know that when you have somebody like Jonas on the floor, the interior is pretty much protected as much as it need to be in modern NBA. Like, teams is not really living in the paint. You know what I'm saying? Like, they might have some stretches where the ball make it there on transition, but for the most part, teams are trying to shoot. Like, I think the guard heavy is good. Because the guards that they do have, like Josh Hart, Najee Marshall, like those type of players, they don't play like guards. They got size. They play defense. They grab rebounds. You know what I mean? Like, they do what you look at forwards to do. You know what I'm saying? So I really I got high hopes for the season, man. Like, I really do. I was trying not to get excited. I didn't plan on being excited going into the preseason. I just wanted to check them out and see what they look like. And then I ended up buying in. You know what I mean?
Who you got coming off the bench? What you got? You over Kyra, maybe Josh at the 2, Naj at the 3. Or you got Herb Jones at the 4 and Jackson at the 5.
Yes, sir. That's a great bench squad.
But what about Devontae?
Ooh.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
he would have to be the 6th man though. He would have to be the 6th man. He would have to be on the floor somehow in that second unit if he wasn't starting. Because $40 million is too much to not even be in the second unit. And I think he's too good to fall that deep. I think Kyra might just get pushed out, honestly, and be somebody that he just rotate in.
And you see, I don't like that. I think Kyra should be. I think Kyra should be the backup point. I think Kyra should get his fair shot on being the starting point guard. I think the future to me is Kyra, no, TM3, and can't say that because
Herb Jones.
And Herb Jones.
Herb Jones been impressing me too. I did not expect to see what I saw from like.
Yeah,
I
Herb a
feel like
baller, man.
those two players, they came in like ready right away.
You got to play them. I mean, you
Because
got to
honestly,
go get
bro,
them.
I remember I was having a conversation before the season started. I didn't even know if Herb would make the active roster. Like I just
No,
assumed he would get pushed off. But he making a good case. Like, nah,
now with the
he
way
ain't
he
getting
defend,
sent
I
to
knew he
no.
was gonna
Yeah. But the thing is, like, I knew that defense alone wouldn't have been enough. So he could have been as elite as he wanted to be on the defensive end. He would have to be at least somewhat serviceable on the offensive side. And
be.
that's what he
Yeah, he
been
got a little
showing me.
game.
Like, he understand where to be. He might not be, no playmaker or shot creator or nothing like that, but he can find a role on the floor. You know what I mean? So I'm really impressed, man. I think before we wrap it up for today, if you had to judge just off of the two games that we saw so far, I'm gonna start with Jerrette. How many wins you think the Pelicans get?
A preseason or regular season?
Regular season. And they back at 82.
Uh,
I'll make it easier. Over under 45.
oh yeah, I like that one. I like that better. Right now, I don't know, Ryan. I don't want to say over because I don't know how they look with Zion. So right now, I'm gonna just stay under. I'm gonna just take this statement here and go under.
I can respect that. Me personally, I think that at least my expectations, just based off the young guys, because I know that at least in my opinion, the entire season is gonna ride on what players like Nickeil Alexander Walker do. Like if Nickeil have a bad season, they miss the playoffs. If you have a good season, they make the playoffs. Like it's really that simple to me. But what you think,
And
man?
then
Over under
50,
45.
50 and 32, man.
That's a if they do that,
Gonna be
I'm
a 50.
satisfied. If they do that, I am more than satisfied. Like that would
yeah,
be overachieving.
I'm really hoping.
Yeah, a 50 win year, especially like in the West, is
Yeah,
actually pretty
not
impressive.
gonna average 20, man. So I ain't worried about it.
Yeah, I
We'll put that
seen
boy
AD had a little rant he went on the broadcast where he was talking about he expect Naw to be a 20 to 25 point a game player. Like he has that skill set. And kind of looking at what I see, I believe it. He looked like he could fill them kind of shoes. But I actually want to save that for next week because that's gonna be one of our topics. And I really do think he gonna ball out next game, especially they linking back up with Zoe tomorrow. So we'll be there to go over that. I'm sure that's gonna be an interesting one. Y'all had anything else y'all wanted to add it before we get out of here? Any teams we forgot to mention? I know sometimes we forget about the smaller schools and whatnot, but anything y'all want to add?
dog.
They definitely did. Shout out to you, Lafayette.
Hard fought win.
Go Cajuns.
They play on ESPN Tuesday night against App State.
That's
So
what's
it's supposed
up.
to be a big game.
That's
It'll be
what's
a
up.
good one.
Definitely watching that. But we'll definitely be here to recap all of that for you, man. If y'all got anything that like the fans, if y'all got anything that y'all want us to bring up while we on the podcast, man, y'all please leave a comment, let us know. Hit the like button, support us, man. We really want to get moving in the algorithms of YouTube and stuff like that, man, so we can keep bringing y'all content. But until next week, man, we'll see y'all.